Thanks, guys, for joining me. This is part two. So I'm at my wit's end. I get a whole bunch of books and I start researching online. I start seeing videos, and I am just bombarded with all these ideas and different techniques and different this and different that. And so my son turned 4 months old. I looked at my husband and I told him we're doing the Ferber method because we had tried everything. We moved him to a crib in the room. We tried a little bit of cry it out, but it didn't work. We tried the gentle approach. We tried pick up, put down. We tried shush pat, shush pat. We did freaking everything. The only way to get him to sleep was nursing him. And then at 4 months, he turned a corner and was able to nurse each side in like under 5 minutes. So he wasn't tired. Nursing didn't make him drowsy anymore. And I took him to a lactation consultant, and sure enough, in 10 minutes, this kid was downing 5 ounces. In 10 minutes, five on each side, getting anywhere from 3 to 5 ounces at a feed. And I was just like, this isn't working anymore. I'm not able to nurse him to sleep anymore. What am I doing? So I rocked him. Well, that worked for a little while. But then when you're up at 7 in the morning for the 10th time that night, and you know he's only going to pass out for 40 minutes before he wants to nurse again, you are too tired to get up and physically rock your body. And at this point, my husband and I both, we were a tag team in it. We were doing everything we could. My poor husband grabbed his child, got up, started rocking him, put him down on the bed, laid on the floor, and threw up everywhere. This was just like to tell you how desperate we were for sleep, how sleep deprived we were, and how it was affecting me being a mom and a wife and a friend. And I was just totally at my wit's end. So we tried the cry it out method. We took my son's crib and put it into a different room, which I thought we would never do. And that, honestly, if I could just be real right now, it broke my freaking heart. Okay, it broke my heart. I did not want this to happen. I didn't know where I went wrong. I didn't know that you should start early. I didn't know about self-soothing. I just was so heartbroken because to see him in between his parents and to be ripped out of that environment that definitely was warm and cozy, and to be and loving. Me and my husband would just kiss him all, just the amount of love that we had for him. And now he was in his own crib and in his own room, and I was just beside myself. I didn't want that. So we did the cry it out method. My husband had off 3 days. I said, great. It usually takes 3 days to a week. So let's just start it now. You're the strong parent. You can go in there because he's going to want to nurse if he sees me. And so we did the check-ins 3, 5, and 10 minutes. We lasted 38 minutes. My son had tears down to his ears. He had tears, snot bubbles. He was like, I know there's a term when like you cry and then like you can't even catch your breath. Like, he was so devastated. And I picked him up and swore I would never do that again because it was just such a test run and fail. So then we went 2 more weeks in complete agony. My husband and I staying up most nights, and he was just crying all night long. And I couldn't figure this out. This kid is not a crier. He doesn't have colic. He doesn't have anything. It's not like nothing's wrong with him. He's a beautiful being. He's like, I'm trying to put him on a pedestal here. He was just so irritated and fussy and just so tired, and he just could not get to sleep. And I don't know what to do with him at this point. I was really in agony. And my husband was very against letting him stop co-sleeping. He was very against the Ferber method. And so finally, my husband had a coworker at work have a 6-month-old, and my son was about 4.5 months, and she had the same issues. Now, she was formula feeding. So her son wasn't not sleeping because he wasn't full. He wasn't sleeping because he had developed bad habits or whatever. And so she told him that she let the baby cry it out, and this was recommended by her doctor, and that it was going pretty well. And my husband came home and said, let's try it again, because even though I talk and talk and talk, sometimes it takes another person to just offer the same story in a different way for my husband to click his brain. I don't know why. So he was finally on board, and I decided to do it when he was at work. My husband works late. He doesn't get home till 10, and I was like very much in trying to keep the baby to a schedule and a bedtime routine and to keep him strict at 7:30 to put him down. And so away we went. Put the bed in the room, put the thermostat up. I had a great bedtime routine that I still use now. And we had a little camera, and away we went. And the first night he cried on and off for 99 minutes before he finally fell asleep. And it was agonizing. It was agonizing. My heart started racing. My anxiety levels were up through the roof. My chest was just so warm, filled with frustration and anger. And you want to give up every minute you just want to run in there every minute. Now, what I did was from an article that I read called PreciousLittleSleep.com, How to Cry It Out Bedtime Edition. And what we decided to do was the full extinction or the Wise Bluff method, which is where you do not check on your baby. Because what we learned with the Ferber method was that going inside of the room was making it worse. But not checking on him at all made me feel like a criminal. Like, I really thought, is this even legal? Will CPS come take my baby away? Will a neighbor call the police? Because he straight up cried for 99 minutes. And it was agonizing. And it made you feel, just try to convince yourself to not do it. He's too little. He's not old enough. He doesn't understand. His parents are abandoning him. He's going to change his personality. I don't want to change who he is. Like, these thoughts were just going through your brain nonstop. But he did go to sleep. And the first night he slept for 7 hours, went to bed back for 2. I thought he was dead. I went in there and poked him a few times, and I'm not going to lie, because I really thought my son was just dead. I'd never seen him be still for so long. I couldn't believe it. I was shocked. Of course, I didn't sleep that night because I was really, really anxious and my nerves were just completely shot. But he slept, and the next day he seemed a lot better. I learned that babies are only up for an hour to an hour and a half to 2 hours before they need a nap for his age. So the next day I was very keen on putting him to sleep, by rocking him and nursing him, and he would go to sleep a lot easier. I normally have to rock him for 15 minutes. Now I'm rocking him for 5 minutes, and he was falling asleep, and he was sleeping for 2 hours, then 40 minutes, then maybe an hour, and this was the most he's ever slept. Like I said, I was the nap police. I definitely was making it a high priority to get him to take naps because a well-rested baby during the day will sleep better during the night. And so the second night came and disaster struck. My son got stuck in the rails off camera, and I didn't see him stuck, and I didn't think he was stuck, and I didn't check on him for over an hour, and he was screaming for an hour because he was stuck. At this point, I actually punched a hole in the wall because I was really, really upset with myself. I made a lot of mistakes. I put him in pajamas where he couldn't, his legs go in there all together. They're not just two separate sections for the legs. And I didn't have a baby crib bumper, and he got stuck, and my camera wasn't the focus right. So we thought we were ready, but we weren't. And I moved him, and he cried for another 12 minutes, and then he went to sleep. But I was really devastated. That still is probably, it replays in my mind all the time. It was just like the most horrific experience I've ever had. We're going to go ahead to part 3, and I'll tell you about nights number 3, 4, 5, and 6.